this is just a very simple look. What I keep in mind when I do this particular makeup look is that if I was speaking to someone who wears makeup and is familiar with it, they could probably tell I'm wearing a little makeup. But the nice thing is that people who aren't familiar with makeup, don't wear it themselves, would probably think I wasn't wearing any makeup at all. But it just, it kind of brightens my face, makes me very healthy looking, healthy skin, and it's just I find it's just a nice look to wear when I go out and all I'm doing is maybe grocery shopping, not going to a party or anything, if you know what I mean, or just going to the movies with some friends. Just a very nice, simple look. So in this video, I'm going to be demonstrating how I do a very simple makeup routine with minimal makeup. So for starters, I of course start by applying cream to my eyes, my face, and my neck. The reason that I do this is that this allows the makeup to go on smoothly when I apply it. It prevents there being any dry spots on my face, but also makeup is very drying to the skin. So it helps to prevent any drying to the skin by the makeup because I've already applied cream to my skin and hydrated it. So the first makeup that I'll be applying today is a redness erasing primer. This one's a green color. Green is the opposite of red. So any areas of my skin that are red, or if there's any discoloration, this makeup will cover that over and make it so that every part of the skin on my face is basically the same color as it should be when you have healthy skin. So I'm going to start by just applying that to my makeup sponge. The nice thing too about this makeup is I put it on just a very thin layer, so the makeup actually lasts a long time. And I'm going to basically apply this to every part of my face, except for my eye area here. There's a different makeup that I'll be applying there. And I'm just spreading it out as much as it will spread out. I'm just going to show you here. That's all I'm putting on the sponge for each section of my face because it spreads out very well. And any areas such as right here where I actually have a red spot, I will add just a tiny bit more in that area, but I'm still spreading it out as much as I can around that area. And also I'm careful not to put too much of this makeup because It is green, so if I put too much, I'll end up with my face having kind of a green tone to it. And of course, I don't want that. I just want it to look like I'm not, at this point, I want it to look like I'm not wearing any makeup with this, but my skin tone is even all over. So that's all I'm putting on for that. And if you noticed, I did also go just under my chin area here, because I do have some redness here, but also if I stopped here, it would kind of, doing just under my chin helps my facial tone once I've put this makeup on to gradually blend in with the tone on my neck where I haven't applied this particular makeup. So the next makeup that I apply is I'm going to be putting on, it's a liquid foundation. This one, for my personal skin tone, I'm going to be using beige in case you're interested. So as you can see, it's like it's a tone very similar to my natural skin tone. And the nice thing about a liquid foundation, at least the one that I'm using here, and a lot of them, this applies to a lot of them, is that they're buildable. So you can apply it, and if you feel like you need more in certain areas, after waiting a minute, you can apply more on top of what you've already applied and make it thicker. So again, I'll be using a makeup sponge, and I don't put on very much at all. Trying to show you in the camera here, that's all I have there, just a little dot. And again, with this makeup, I'm going to be putting it all over my face and just under my chin here so that it blends, the tone can blend into my neck where I'm not putting this makeup. And I'm putting it everywhere except for around my eye here. So I'm going to use just that tiny bit, and I am going to try to spread it as far as it will go. And I want it to be blended in, and I want it to look like I'm not wearing any makeup at this point once it's blended in. And that little spot of makeup that I showed you on the sponge, that's all I use for each section of my face. So that's all I use on my forehead and on my temples. That's all I use on my cheek area and down into nearby to close to my jaw and up the side of my nose here. And I'm going kind of over where I already did to help each section kind of blend into each other here. So now that I'm finished with that one, the next makeup I'll be putting on is the area around my eye here and on my eyelid. What I'm using today, as you can see here, it is a long wear eyeshadow primer. But I like putting this one on even if I'm not wearing eyeshadow that day. I can't speak for everyone who uses this makeup because at least at the stores where I shop for my makeup, I've only ever seen one shade. It comes in a kind of a pinkish cream color, but it is sheer. But at least with my skin tone, I find it blends in well, and once I put it on, before I put any eyeshadow on, it just helps with, like, if I didn't get good sleep and I have bags under my eyes, or once I put my makeup on, you know how when you look below your eyebrow, sometimes it can be a little veiny looking. I find that it just makes that disappear, and I like it for that reason. So I'll be putting that on today, and again I'll be using a makeup sponge, and I'm just gonna show you here. I just put on the very tiniest bit. And again, I'll be applying more now for the top of my lid. And a bit more just for below my eyebrow here. And I want to make sure I just get in the crease of my eye there. Don't forget that. I find this makeup is so creamy that you don't have to do a whole lot of blending when you're applying it, which is nice. Kind of went and spread it out right to my lash and my eyebrow there, so I got to put a little more on now. Wasn't paying attention. There, now it's even. Okay, so now that that's done, the next step that I'll be doing is I'm going to be applying, it's called a mattifying powder. You can see there that it's looks white when it's in the container. It actually goes on sheer. So the reason that I use this particular makeup is because I've applied creams and now I'm going to be putting powders on. So I apply the sheer mattifying powder first so that when I apply the powders, they don't gather too much in one area. I'm able to use my brush to spread it out to where I actually want it to go. And then it doesn't go on too dark. I can have more control over how dark or light I want the powder to go on my face. So I'll be using my big makeup brush here. And I'm gonna put it everywhere except for my eyelid area so that I can still, because of course that makeup is meant to make the eyeshadow go on darker, so I don't have to use as much. And if I put the mattifying powder there, obviously then it won't do its job. So I'm gonna do my best to keep it on my face. I'll even go under my eye here, but I'm not gonna put it on right where I'll be putting my eyeshadow. So I'm just gonna spread it out. just really quickly, I'm just going to be generous with it. And as you can see, you don't really see any difference once it's on. And two, when I'm putting it on, if I find an area starts looking too light, I can just use my brush to spread it out more, and then it'll stop doing that. Gonna make sure I do kind of down my neck too. And I'm going around my ear like that because I did put my makeup right up to here, and I went right up very close to my ear here when I was applying it, so I kind of go past where I did just to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, so now that that's done, the next thing I'm doing is, as you can see, now that I've put all this makeup on my face, when you look at your face with no makeup on, you'll notice that some areas of your face are a little more, like you don't have just one straight color across your face. You know, some areas have more of a pinkish hue and so on. But when you put all this makeup on like this, it can kind of erase that a little bit. So I'm gonna help my face have more contouring without looking really obviously like I have makeup on. Personally, I'm going to be using a beige colored mineral face powder to do this. I know a lot of people use other makeups for doing the contouring, but this is what I have, and for my personal skin tone, I find it looks good on my face. So that's what I'm doing today. But whatever makeup you use to do this, it's going to be basically in the area where I'm applying this makeup. So again, this is a powdered makeup, so I'm using my brush again. So I'm gonna very lightly, so as not to put too much of this on, I'm just gonna basically frame my face here. Just down that side, then a little down the other side here, just doing like a touch and gentle brush. Just looking, I'm just gonna put a little more gently like that. And then I'm putting it basically in the same areas where you would put a bronzer. Just a little down my nose, just a touch there, just a little down my neck here, and then I'm gonna be doing a pattern, basically like a upside down triangle. Cheekbone is here, so I'm gonna go straight down, right in this area here. You see, I did that area, and then I did one more stroke here. Just very gentle. And now it's allowed my face to not look so flat. I have some contouring. So next, now that I'm looking at it, I feel like my eyebrows are kind of, you know, disappearing here. I have very light eyebrows, personally. So I'm gonna do those next. So what I do for my eyebrow routine is I do 2 steps. My first step is I use what is called an eyebrow mascara. So you can see it here. It's very, if you aren't familiar with this particular makeup, it's very similar to eye mascara, but it's for your eyebrows. See, it has a little brush here, like you find in a regular mascara. And it's a gel makeup. So I'm gonna carefully do my eyebrow hairs without touching the skin. So we'll see how that goes. It can be tricky. So I'm just very gently gonna do along there. And you see the gel just attaches itself to the eyebrow hairs. And now I'm gonna do the other one. We'll see how that goes. And I can see now this one showing up a whole lot more than that one, so I'm just gonna go over the first one again. Oh, see, and some of it did touch my skin, so I'll have to clean that up in a minute. Okay, now I'm just gonna go and clean that spot. Okay, so I've just cleaned that one spot. It was very easy to do because I caught it right away before it had dried. I literally just used cotton swab, and I used a dry one and just kind of gently touched it. It came off, so no problem. So the second step that I do when I'm doing my eyebrows is I use a powdered eyebrow palette. You can see it there. It has 2 steps. And then the third step here is, I would say it's similar to an eyeshadow, except that it's not meant to be used as eyeshadow, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. So, it comes with an eyebrow brush. So, step 1, and I'm just gonna go right over my eyebrows here, right over the eyebrow gel. I go one way and then I go the other. Just kind of blend it a little. And you can already see it's a little darker and more defined than it is with just the gel. Just gonna put on a little more here of step 1. And there we go. And actually I'm gonna finish this one first so you can really see the difference there. Then step 2, I use the smaller end of the brush. And I like to start at the corner here and just go across. Step 2 really helps to shape it better. And then I just do the center here. Just go back and forth so it's even all over. And then I always find you can kind of see the powder went a little outside the line here, and I'm just gonna gently wipe that away. Kind of help this come to a point here. And I think I'm actually gonna use the dry cotton swab now because my finger didn't do anything. And as you can see here, it really, like, my eyebrows went from looking super skinny to the width that I like, thickness that I like. I think it looks a lot better above my eyes there, brings more attention to my eyes. But the thing is that I didn't go around my eyebrow. I literally just went over where my eyebrow actually is, and it makes it look this way, and I really like that. And the reason that I did the eyebrow mascara first is that I found that before I discovered it, I just did the powder. And once I started doing step 1 and step 2, the mascara and then the powder actually attaches to the mascara better than it did when it was just my eyebrow hairs, and I really like that, so I've been doing it ever since then. Okay, and that one actually did not go outside of my eyebrow, so that's good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the, right at the end of the palette I have, there's what is sort of like an eyeshadow, except it's not meant to go on where eyeshadow does, and you'll see what I mean. The instructions actually tell me to put it right here, and I kind of like that. It just gives a little definition at the end of my eyebrow here. And I think this is something that you can do even if you have a palette that does not have that. You could easily just use an eyeshadow there. It's just a creamy white colored shimmering eyeshadow. Just a little something extra at the end there. So I'm almost done. Now that I've done my eyebrows, I'm just gonna put on a little bit of mascara, not a whole lot. And by that I mean regular mascara that goes on the eyelashes. So what I'm using today, the mascara I'm using today is the color is Blackest Black. The blackest one I could find at the store that I shop at. I'm just gonna do not a huge amount, just a very light amount to kind of bring attention to my eyes. And I know it's sort of hard to tell on the screen, but if I come up closer here, when I look straight at the camera, you can see that even though I did only 2 layers as I went along, it did do something. And when I do that bottom lash here on either side, I just did a single touch with the brush, not even a full, swipe, just single touch, and I only did the very end here. So literally from this point down, that's all I did. I find that I like it. It just, it kind of pulls the eye visually. It makes it seem longer this way. I just like the look. It's my personal preference. Instead of doing the entire lash, just doing the end there. So that's it. That's all I'm doing for today. This is just a very simple look. what I keep in mind when I do this particular makeup look is that if I was speaking to someone who wears makeup and is familiar with it, they could probably tell I'm wearing a little makeup. But the nice thing is that people who aren't familiar with makeup, don't wear it themselves, would probably think I wasn't wearing any makeup at all. But it just, it kind of brightens my face, makes me very healthy looking, healthy skin, and it's just I find it's just a nice look to wear when I go out and all I'm doing is maybe grocery shopping, not going to a party or anything, if you know what I mean, or just going to the movies with some friends. Just a very nice, simple look. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, have a good day.